Hey guys, this is Eric Weingartner with Weingartner Racing. Today's video is not technical at all, but from time to time, and viewers have asked for this, if I would tell some stories anyway that just happened. But this one is based off of, we lost a good person this week, and the person we lost is Robert Redford. And no, I never met him. So I never met him at all, but because of him, he gave me one of my greatest memories with my father. So that's what this story is about, and you might appreciate this at all possible. Now, no, I never met Robert Redford. I never heard anything bad about him. Not saying maybe he did and I just wasn't aware of it, but all that means nothing to me. The only thing that meant to me was what he caused happen with me and my father. So let's just get to the story. So as a young child, both my parents worked. They were married the entire time till my dad passed away. But they both worked their tails off. So dad used to work 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And mom would work about 10-hour days, 6 days a week. So if you look at it, they never really had the same day off. So I think mom had off Saturday and dad had off Sunday. But anyway, I say this because on Sundays, mom or dad would be at home with us. And he would always tell us, get up, go to Sunday school. We never really went to church because church, it would be awkward if you're just an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old just showing up to church to watch it. But we go to Sunday school. So the church I went to was Trinity Baptist Church. It's a really small church. It's about 60-something kids. And I promise this video is not religious, but you'll understand it plays a part in the story somewhat. But anyway, it's a small church, maybe 100 members or so, but on any given Sunday, maybe there's 40 or 50. But they always had Sunday school beforehand, and that was for all age groups, even the youth, and then adult classes as well. And then they would have church service. So we would get dressed up, because back in those days, you didn't just show up in pants and stuff. You'd actually kind of get dressed up, slacks and whatnot. So we'd put on our stuff, and we'd walk down. So it was maybe 3 blocks from our house to the church, and we'd go to Sunday school. Well, before that, because young kids wake up earlier, we woke up, and this is going to sound rare, and I know we were rare at this. We were never really wealthy at all, but the one thing we did have is HBO. So I woke up on a Sunday morning, and the movie was on, and it was called The Natural. And The Natural is the movie with Robert Redford. If you haven't seen it, I highly encourage you to watch it. It is such a fantastic movie. If you like baseball at all, it's a great movie. So at the time, I'm like 7 or 8. And I was playing Little League Baseball, and baseball was different then. And what I mean by that is it feels like now it's been so ruined. Back then, anybody could play. You didn't have to be rich to play. You didn't have to spend all these dues to play. It was very, very cheap. So hopefully right now I'm including a picture of my baseball team so you understand what I mean by this, because if you look at our uniform, we're all wearing blue jeans and regular shoes, tennis shoes. There's no cleats except for one kid. Moose Lodge, which is just a club for older guys, they supplied or paid part of our shirts and our hats, and that was it. We shared baseball bats, we shared helmets, we all did have our own gloves, but these were all hand-me-down gloves. Nobody had any money. Compare that to now, you just can't do that. If the dues are so high, the chance of a kid that's coming from a lower income to actually play baseball is super rare. But I understand that's not necessarily part of the story, but the biggest part of this is to say I was in baseball and I liked it. And I was actually really good, which seems strange now because it's hard to say that for a 7 or 8-year-old. But I remember I used to throw from the outfield and hit first base, and I'd be all the way on left field. So it was a pretty good task to me, and I could hit fairly well too. Because one of the things I used to do is, remember this is pre-internet, we go out in our backyard and we just hit the ball. And you didn't have to have a pitcher. You just throw it up in the air and crack it. And we'd try to hit it over the fence, sort of. The next door neighbor to us was a guy named Shorty, and he had one of these gigantic satellite dishes. I mean, it was like 6 foot across. You guys may not realize this, but if you grew up in the 80s, you know those. So we had this humongous satellite dish. And I don't know how many times we hit that baseball into that dish. But our goal was never to hit the dish. It was actually to hit it over our fence, over his fence, and into the following fence. The problem was if you landed in that yard, they had a dog named Rambo, which was a chow. And it was essentially like the Sandlot. You weren't getting that ball. No one was brave enough to get the ball. So you'd have to knock on the guy's door, hey, could you get the ball? And then they'd give us the ball. Shorty never got, which was our neighbor next to us with the satellite dish. We called him Shorty. I don't even know what his real name was. He never cared if we hit the satellite dish as long as we didn't hit the center part, which is where it sent the signal. So we like bashed it continuously, but we would practice out there all the time and had a great time just hitting the ball. You might go, why didn't your dad? Well, working 12-hour days is kind of tough, right? Occasionally he'd go out there and pitch with us or throw the ball with us or whatnot, but it was just something to do. You know, you go outside, you just hit the ball, right? Funny story about that satellite dish. We had a major hailstorm came through, and I remember Shorty, he did an insurance claim, and he took the insurance guy out to the satellite dish and like, man, you guys got some huge hail here. It's like baseball size. I was like, yes, it was. But anyway, that was just a funny part of that. Point being is, I was pretty good into baseball. So on this particular Sunday, I woke up early. I'm getting ready to go to Sunday school, and we had HBO on, and The Naturals playing with Robert Redford. Now, there's a lot of major people in this movie. We have Glenn Close, the guy from the Christmas Story's in there, the father, he was in it. Wilford Brimley, the guy from Days of Thunder, I can't remember his name, he's also in it. So like a lot of major stars, right? And this movie is a big, big movie. Anyway, if you watch the movie, you'll remember the scene where at the very beginning, lightning strikes this tree, the tree blows up, and from that blown up tree, he makes a baseball bat, and he puts the lightning on it, right? Well, the final scene, which hopefully you could watch this, I'll just put it in right here. Here's the final scene of the movie.
Let's play ball.
Okay, so anyway, I'm watching that and it just got done and I'm like, I gotta go to Sunday school. So I walk to Sunday school, don't think anything about it, do my whole Sunday school thing, and I walk back and my dad is like super happy. Now usually on Sundays he's tired because he's been working all week and stuff. And he's tired and he's super happy. He's like, I got you something. I got you something. I want to try this. And I was like, first off, we never got anything. So it was super, super rare if we ever got anything because we just flat out didn't have any money. So like, I remember one time my dad bought me a Hot Wheel of the A-Team van and he put it on my dresser and I got home from school and it was there and I was like super, super happy. But granted, this was $1. So yeah, we just didn't have much. And I was super happy. But anyway, he's like, I got you something. And so he goes, come out in the garage. So I come out in the garage. He had made the bat. So from The Natural, if you remember the movie, I told you lightning strikes the tree. He makes a bat from that tree that exploded. And he put a lightning strike in it. And that's what he used to hit. Well, my dad, while I was at Sunday school, because they don't go to, it's his day off. While he was at Sunday school, he had, I guess, a piece of wood, and he has a wood lathe. And I didn't even know what that was. And he had made the bat. And it was perfect. I was more blown away than my fact that my dad made it. Because there's a lot of stuff your dad does that you just never even think about. And he made this bat, and it had a lightning strike on it. But he didn't put Wonder Boy. He just had a lightning strike on it. He burned it in. And I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Thank you so much, Dad. I was like super happy. It was like the greatest gift he could have got me, because he could have bought whatever. That gift was the greatest thing I'd ever been given to that point, because it came from him and it came with love, right? And he's like, you want to go outside and hit? And I was like, I do. So we go outside, and he's going to pitch it to me, and I'm going to hit it. And I really could hit back then. Anyway, so he throws the ball, and I mean, I'm like, wham! And I kill it. The ball and the bat. The bat literally breaks, like first hit. And he'd worked hours on this, I'm sure, while we were out there. So it snaps the bat in half, and chunk of it, the top part, or the head part, flies into the ground. And it stabs itself in the ground, which was like, looking back, I'm like, God, I hope I could have killed him, because that part came off towards him. And it has splinters and everything that, I mean, it could have been bad. And all I'm holding is like a little part that's like this and maybe this far up. And he's like, oh, and he was like sort of upset that I broke the back. He's like, why did you have to swing so hard? But then he also knows I swing hard. It's the lightning bat. So anyway, this starts the whole process of him trying to make a bat survive. So he's like, give me the piece. So I give him the piece that I have. He goes back in the garage and he says, just give me a second. And when he comes back out, this is like horrible, but he comes back out and he has made the bat. So we still have this part. It has this much above it. So because it just has the nub. So it's like this and this. He's like, let's try it. I'm like, Dad, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. He's like, you're going to do it. And then so I went from being so happy to get this, but I also felt like, okay, I'll do it for my dad. And I knew it was going to happen, because I'm not going to not swing. And so he throws the ball, and he was really good with it throwing too. Perfect where he threw it, always perfect. Of course I hit it, but I hit it with my thumb. So when it hits, the ball hits, it hits my thumb. It hurts like a son of a gun. And yes, I cried, because it didn't have but like this much to actual hit. And he's like, walk it off, son, walk it off. You know how fathers were back in the day. And he goes, that's okay, I'll fix it. I'll make it better. And literally, this whole thing came from the Natural movie. So for the next weeks, what he kept trying to do was figuring out some wood, because all he had was that scrap piece of wood, which I don't even know where he got it. And he made the bat out of. So the next day, he comes home from work. And he's working over in Ponca City. And remember, his arm's all laid up because he got hurt. And he got this railroad tie. So for those that don't know, there's pieces of wood that are underneath the railroad. And that tie, he thought that wood must be very, very strong. Let's try making the bat out of it. So he does the same thing. He makes the bat and he goes, let's go out and try it. Same thing. Swing, bam, breaks in half. And he's like, ugh. So then he's like, and this is pre-internet, okay? He's asking anybody, but no one really knows, because again, it's pre-internet. You're asking people that maybe they might know, but you don't know. So like, hey, what wood should you make the bat out of? And they're like, well, you should make it out of oak. Oak, is it really expensive, I guess? I don't know. I'm not a woodworker guy, but I remember it was like really, and then somebody was like, make it out of cedar and stuff. So, and I remember this was, because we were so poor, we couldn't afford $20, but he would get a 20, and his mom was getting a little upset with it too. He buy this $20 piece of wood to make a bat that would last one strike. So anyway, tried cedar, tried oak, it all failed. And the whole time he's just like, he didn't want to give up. And I was like feeling so happy, because each day I got to spend time with my father. And even when and I know he was dead tired, right? He's like just exhausted from all the work, right? And all he wanted to do was just go and hang out with his son and just hit a ball. So it really did mean a lot. And I'm getting a little choked up because I miss him so much. But anyway, again, pre-internet, what happens is finally one of his friends, because we couldn't afford it, went to Silver Dollar City. For those that don't know, if you live in this area, so like Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri area, you know what Silver Dollar City is. It's like, it used to be the poor man's Disney World, but now it's not even, you have to be rich pretty much to go there anyway. But if you ever go to Silver Dollar City, They had a whole woodworking section, and they made, that's right, bats. So he had one of his friends ask the guy at the wood thing that was making actual bats, hey, how do you get them to survive? Because I got this guy at work, and he keeps making these bats, and they keep breaking. And he's like, it has to be pressurized. And that's one thing my dad, of course, didn't have. There's no way to do it. I guess they do put it in some kind of pressure chamber, and it shrinks the bat down, and it makes the wood extremely dense and hard. Didn't know that at all. So Dad's like, I can't do that. But he ended up buying a bat from there, and it was the wood bat that I owned. I think it's actually still at home. I'm not going to put it out for this video, but they couldn't put the lightning. They just put my name, Eric, in the bat. It wasn't regulation length or barrel, so we couldn't use it in the game anyway, but I got to use it for practice. But anyway, all that to say this. That one movie from a guy I never met in my life, and it's a fantastic movie, gave me the greatest experience of my life with my father. And it's a memory I will never forget. And so, what I'm trying to say is, when we look back at like things that happen in our life, it's always like, it's not even the greatest, like I can't even tell you what the greatest gift I ever got, but that someone paid for, but I do remember that time with my father. And it all came from a movie, from a person I never met. Every day, I try to be as good as what my father was to me, to my son. And so like, we tried baseball.
Everybody's like, what? Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Don't swing at this.
Buddy, if you don't like it, don't swing. You might just take a break from one.
Yes!
There you go. Oh, man, look at that, baby.
Yes!
Yeah! Bishop was actually fairly decent at it until we got further into kid pitch. And it turns out you can get hit a lot with the baseball. And he's like, enough of this. I'm going to do a different sport. And that's why he's in swimming. And he's been very successful with it, as you know. But every day, I try to be as good as what he was. And every day, I think I'll never match what he did. And he didn't even do... You don't have to be everything to your kid. You have to be everything that your kid needs. And that's what he was. And when I look at the death of the guy, which I won't bring up his name, and I don't even want to get into it too much, the one I feel the worst for are the children. Because they don't know the politics. They don't care about any of that. That was just their dad. They'll never get that memory like I had. And every day, and he's been gone since 2016. Every day I miss him. Like there's so much I wish I could just say to him. He didn't see Bishop graduate and all this other stuff. And just, you don't know how much you need them until they're gone. It's tough. And it's been years. Anyway, you wanted a story. There's that one. So I would say if your father is still with you, enjoy every single moment you have. Be thankful for that because you just never know. And anyway, I don't want to get too far off in the weeds, but thanks to Robert Redford. I'm sorry about your passing. Hopefully his family's there, but thank you for giving me one of the greatest times with my father that I could ever have. So thank you for that. Anyway, guys, remember, I am no Superman. I did raise Superboy, and I don't pour cast iron heads. You guys take care.